In the heart of Oyo State, there was a market no one dared to speak of openly. They called it the Midnight Market, a place that appeared when the clock struck 12. The villagers whispered of its horrors, traders who were not human, and wares that came with a price no man should ever pay. One night, Adi, a bold but unsuspecting boy, wandered into the darkness. What he found would haunt him and his village forever. Welcome to Matt's Stories. Please don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell to get notified when the next story is out. It was a chilly evening in Oyo, and the moon shone brighter than ever. Ade sat on a wooden stool outside his family's small hut, listening intently to his grandmother's tales. Mama Ajoke, as everyone called her, had warned him countless times about the midnight market. "It is not a place for humans," she said, her voice low and trembling. "Once you enter, you'll either never return or you'll come back changed." Her words sent chills down Ada's spine, but his curiosity flared. He had always been drawn to the forbidden, and tonight something inside him stirred an urge to see the market for himself. As the village grew silent and lanterns dimmed, Ade made his move. Slipping out of the house, he crept through the narrow dirt paths that led to the forest. The air was eerily still, the usual sounds of crickets and distant drums absent. His lantern flickered, casting strange shadows on the ground. Ade's heart pounded in his chest, but he couldn't turn back now. He had heard whispers that the midnight market appeared near the ancient baobab tree. When he reached the clearing, a thick fog enveloped him. Then, out of nowhere, lanterns lit up in vibrant colours, and the faint sound of drums echoed through the air. The market had appeared. Before Adi stood a sight that defied explanation. Stalls made of bones and gold shimmered under an unnatural light. Merchants with glowing eyes and skin like polished stone called out in voices that didn't sound human. Strange creatures walked among the crowd, some with hooves, others with wings, and a few with faces that shifted every time Adi blinked. His feet felt glued to the ground as he watched the chaos unfold. One merchant, a woman with long black hair that seemed alive, smiled at him. "Welcome, boy," she said, her voice soft but chilling. "You've come to the right place." Ade swallowed hard and took a cautious step forward. The stalls displayed items he couldn't comprehend. Bottles filled with swirling smoke, masks that whispered secrets, and fruits that glowed like tiny suns. "What is this place?" he whispered. A tall man with antlers on his head overheard him and chuckled. "This is the midnight market, child, a place where dreams come true. For a price." Ade's curiosity burned brighter, but his grandmother's warning echoed in his mind. He tightened his grip on his lantern and tried to stay focused. All he needed to do was look and leave, nothing more. As Ade wandered deeper, he noticed something strange about the merchants. Their eyes followed him, their smiles widening unnaturally as he passed. One stall caught his attention, a table piled high with golden coins. The merchant, a short man with a twisted grin, waved him over. "A coin for your thoughts?" the man asked, holding up a glimmering piece. Ade hesitated. "I don't have anything to trade," he said. The merchant's grin grew wider. "Oh, but you do. Everyone has something to trade. Time, memories, even a piece of your soul. Just one coin and you'll never have to worry about anything again." Ade backed away, the merchant's laughter ringing in his ears. The market seemed to close in around him, the stalls pressing closer, the merchant's eyes glowing brighter. He needed to leave, but the path he had come from was gone. Panic gripped him as he spun around, searching for an exit. That's when he saw her, a young woman sitting alone by a dimly lit stall. She looked human, her eyes sad and tired. "You don't belong here," she said quietly. Ade approached her cautiously. "I don't know how to get out," he admitted. The woman sighed. Leaving isn't easy. The market doesn't let its visitors go so easily. The woman introduced herself as Ediora. She explained that the midnight market wasn't just a place, it was alive. The merchants are spirits, and they feed on human greed and fear, she said. If you want to leave, you must be clever. Do not buy anything, no matter how tempting it seems. Ediora handed him a small, glowing stone. This will protect you for a while, but you must find the market master. He is the only one who can let you go. Adi thanked her, though fear gnawed at him. The merchants were watching him more closely now, their smiles sharper. As Ada made his way toward the center of the market, the items on display grew stranger and more sinister. A merchant offered him a jar filled with shadows, claiming it would make him invisible. Another held out a mirror that showed him as a powerful king. Each offer was more tempting than the last, but Ada remembered Edawora's warning and kept walking. Finally, he reached a massive stall adorned with black feathers and glowing red symbols. Sitting behind it was the market master, a figure cloaked in shadows. His eyes burned like fire, and his voice rumbled like thunder. "Why have you come to my market, boy?" Ada swallowed the lump in his throat and gripped the glowing stone Ediora had given him. The market master's presence was overwhelming, his very voice making the ground tremble beneath Ada's feet. "I didn't come here by choice," Ada stammered, trying to keep his voice steady. I got curious. I want to leave." The market master leaned forward, his fiery eyes narrowing. "Curiosity is dangerous here, boy. No one leaves the midnight market without giving something in return." His words sent chills through Ade. "But I don't have anything to give," Ade said, his voice barely above a whisper. The market master let out a deep, rumbling laugh that echoed through the stalls. "You all have something to give," he said, his voice dripping with menace. "What about your name? Give it to me, and I'll set you free." Ade froze, remembering Mama Ajiok's stories about spirits who could control you if they knew your name. "I won't give you my name," Ade said firmly, his fists clenched. The market master tilted his head, a slow, cruel smile spreading across his face. "Then you will stay here forever," he said. The merchants around him began to close in, their eyes glowing brighter. Ade's heart pounded as he realized he had to think fast. Just as the merchants began to reach for him, Ade remembered the glowing stone in his hand. He held it up, and a bright light burst from it, forcing the spirits to recoil. The market master hissed, his shadowy form flickering like a flame in the wind. "Where did you get that?" he growled, his voice full of rage. Ade didn't answer. Instead, he ran. The light from the stone created a path through the market, illuminating a way forward. Ade didn't know where it led, but he had no choice but to follow it. Behind him, the merchants screamed and howled, their voices like a storm chasing him. The path led Ade to a large, ancient gate covered in strange symbols. He stopped, panting, as he studied the gate. There was no handle, no way to open it. The market master's voice boomed behind him. "You cannot escape, boy. The market is a part of you now." Ade's hands trembled as he held the stone close. Suddenly, the symbols on the gate began to glow, reacting to the stone's light. A soft hum filled the air, growing louder and louder until the gate slowly creaked open. Beyond it was darkness, but it felt different, calmer, quieter. Ade took a deep breath and stepped through. The moment Ade crossed the threshold, the air around him changed. The eerie sounds of the market faded, replaced by the familiar chirping of crickets and rustling of leaves. He looked around and realized he was back in the forest near Oyo. Relief washed over him, but it was short-lived. He turned to look at the gate, but it was gone. The forest was quiet and still, as if the midnight market had never existed. Addy's heart was still racing as he stumbled back toward the village, his mind swirling with everything he had seen. He was safe, but the experience had left its mark on him. When Ade finally reached his home, the first rays of dawn were breaking over the horizon. Mama Ajoke was waiting for him at the door, her face a mixture of worry and relief. "Where have you been?" she asked, pulling him into a tight hug. Ade hesitated, unsure if he should tell her the truth. "I got lost in the forest," he said quietly. Mama Ajoke studied his face, her wise eyes seeming to see through him. "You've seen it, haven't you?" she said softly. Addie's eyes widened in surprise, but he nodded. "The midnight market is real," he whispered. Mama Ajoke led Ade inside and sat him down by the fire. "You're lucky to be alive," she said. "Not many who enter that place return. It preys on greed and fear, and it will do anything to trap its victims." Ade shuddered, remembering the merchants and the market master's burning eyes. "Why does it exist?" he asked. Mama Ajoke sighed. "No one knows. Some say it's a place where lost souls gather, others believe it's a punishment for those who stray too far from the right path. All we know is that it's dangerous." She placed a protective charm around Ada's neck. "This will keep you safe," she said. "But promise me you'll never go back." Days turned into weeks, but the memory of the midnight market lingered in Ada's mind like a haunting melody he couldn't forget. At first he thought he could push it aside, but the strange symbols from the gate started appearing in his dreams. Each night he would find himself back at the market, hearing the echoing laughter of the merchants and the chilling voice of the market master. In these dreams, the glowing stone would dim, and he'd be surrounded by shadows. Each time he woke up drenched in sweat, Mama Ajoke would burn herbs and say prayers, but the nightmares only grew stronger. One evening, Adi decided to visit Adiora. She had been the one who had given him the stone, and he needed answers. When he arrived at her small hut on the edge of the village, she seemed to be expecting him. Her calm demeanour didn't waver as Adi poured out everything: the dreams, the symbols, and the unshakable feeling that the market was calling him back. Adiora listened quietly, her wrinkled hand stirring a pot of herbal concoction. When he was done, she finally spoke. "The midnight market doesn't let go easily," she said. "It's tied to you now. The stone helped you escape, but it also marked you." "Marked me?" Ade asked, his voice trembling. Adiora nodded. "The light of the stone revealed your heart's desires. The market feeds on those, that's why it keeps pulling you back. It knows there's still a part of you that's curious, that's tempted." Adea shook his head. "But I don't want anything from that place. I just want to live my life." Adeora placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "To break its hold, you must confront it again, but this time you must destroy its heart." Ade's eyes widened in shock. "Destroy the midnight market? How?" Adiora handed Ade a pouch filled with a shimmering golden powder. "This is made from the ashes of sacred trees," she explained. "Sprinkle it on the heart of the market and it will collapse. But finding the heart is no easy task. It's hidden deep within the market, guarded by its most powerful spirits." Ada's stomach churned at the thought of returning to that terrifying place, but he knew he had no choice. The dreams were getting worse, and he couldn't let the market consume him. "I'll do it," he said, determination hardening his voice. The next night, Adea prepared for his journey. Mama Ajoke tried to stop him, her tearful pleas breaking his heart. "You've already escaped once," she said. "Why go back?" Adea hugged her tightly. "I have to end this, Mama. I can't live like this anymore." He took the pouch of powder and the protective charm Adea had given him and headed into the forest. The moon was high in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the trees. As he walked, the familiar fog began to swirl around him, and the forest grew unnaturally quiet. Then, just like before, the midnight market appeared before him. This time, Ade stepped into the market with purpose. The merchants greeted him with sinister smiles, their eyes glinting like knives. "Welcome back," one of them said, his voice dripping with mockery. "Didn't get enough the first time?" Ade ignored them and kept walking, clutching the pouch tightly. The market master appeared again, his shadowy form towering over the stalls. "You've returned," he said, his fiery eyes narrowing. "What do you seek this time?" Ade met his gaze without fear. "I'm here to end this," he said. The market master let out a low growl, and the air around them seemed to vibrate with anger. The merchants closed in on Ade, their laughter echoing in his ears. He remembered Adeora's instructions and threw a handful of the golden powder into the air. The powder sparkled like stardust, and the merchants screamed as it burned their ghostly forms. The market master roared in fury, his fiery eyes blazing brighter. "You dare challenge me?" he bellowed. Ade ran deeper into the market, following an invisible pull that seemed to guide him. He could feel the heart of the market drawing him closer, its dark energy growing stronger with every step. Finally, Ade reached a grand pavilion at the centre of the market. Inside, a pulsating black orb floated in the air, surrounded by twisted roots that seemed to anchor it to the ground. The heart of the market. Ade hesitated for a moment, the weight of what he was about to do sinking in. The market master appeared behind him, his shadowy form filling the pavilion. "Stop!" he commanded, his voice shaking the ground. "Destroying the heart will destroy me and everyone here. Do you really want to carry that burden?" Aiden's hands trembled as he held the pouch of powder. The market master's words struck a nerve. Was he willing to destroy an entire realm, even if it was a realm of darkness? He thought about the villagers who had disappeared, the nightmares that haunted him, and the lives the market had ruined. With a deep breath, he opened the pouch and threw the entire contents onto the heart. The orb let out a deafening screech as it began to crack and shatter. The market master lunged at Aiden, but the light from the orb exploded, sending him flying back. The entire market began to collapse, the stalls crumbling into dust and the merchants dissolving into shadows. Aid ran as fast as he could, the ground shaking beneath him. The light from the shattering heart guided him back to the gate which had reappeared. He leapt through just as the market imploded behind him, disappearing into nothingness. Aid landed in the forest, gasping for air. The night was silent again, the oppressive energy of the market gone. He looked back, but there was no sign of the gate or the market. It was truly over. Ade sat on the ground, his chest heaving as he caught his breath. The forest was quiet, too quiet, as if the world itself was holding its breath. The moonlight filtered through the trees, bathing the area in a serene glow. For the first time in weeks, Ade felt a sense of peace. He touched the charm Adera had given him, now scorched but still intact. He muttered a prayer of gratitude and stood, determined to return to the village and share the news of the market's destruction. As he walked, he noticed that the once menacing forest seemed less threatening, as though it, too, had been freed from the market's dark grip. When Aid arrived back in the village, it was nearly dawn. The first rays of sunlight were breaking over the horizon, casting a warm glow on the mud brick houses. Mama Ajoke was the first to spot him, rushing out of their home with tears streaming down her face. "Ade," she cried, embracing him tightly. "You're alive! Praise the gods, you're alive!" The villagers gathered around, their faces a mix of relief and curiosity. Ade recounted his journey to the midnight market, the heart he had destroyed, and the market master's defeat. The crowd listened in awe, their expressions shifting from fear to admiration. As Ade finished his story, an elder stepped forward, his voice heavy with wisdom. "The midnight market has been a curse on this village for generations," he said. Many have vanished, and none have returned to tell the tale. You, Ade, have done what no one else could. You have saved us all." The villagers cheered, their voices echoing through the early morning air. Mama Ajoke clutched her son's hand tightly, pride shining in her eyes. Despite the applause and gratitude, Ade felt a pang of sadness. He thought of the countless souls who had been lost to the market and the pain it had caused. Over the following weeks, the village began to heal. The disappearance of the market lifted a weight from their lives. People who had once lived in fear of the market's pull began to rebuild their lives, their laughter returning to the streets. Adea became a hero, though he remained humble. He spent much of his time helping others, using the lessons he had learned to guide those around him. Adeora, ever the wise elder, continued to watch over him, offering advice and wisdom. "You've faced darkness and emerged stronger," she told him one day. "Never forget that." Though the midnight market was gone, its memory lingered like a shadow. Ade often found himself reflecting on the experience, wondering why he had been chosen to face such a trial. But he took comfort in knowing that he had made a difference, that his actions had freed the village from a curse that had plagued them for so long. As he stood on the edge of the forest one evening, watching the sun dip below the horizon, he whispered a silent prayer for the lost souls of the market, and as the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Ade knew that, no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would face them with courage and an unyielding heart. Did you enjoy this story? Please share your thoughts in the comment. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to this channel.